Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Let's Talk Parenting. This is a show where we talk about the good side of parenting, the bad side of parenting, advice, and what messages you can put out there. Today, we are joined by the lovely Miss Chells. Should I put in the Miss Chells or just Chells?
Just Chells.
Just Chells. Today, we're joined by Just Chells. Hey, Just Chells.
Hi, everyone.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm having a good day.
Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
You know what I actually appreciate? It was done quickly.
It was, wasn't it?
Unlike some people. You know, some guests you have to wait like 7 months. Can we get it done? When? Boom, boom, boom.
Let's do
it. Is
it
3 days, 4 days later?
Yeah, I was gonna say a couple of days ago. This wasn't in the plan.
We're here. That's just how it done. You know, certain people who just wanna prolong the situation. just letting you know.
Can't work with those kind of people, you know.
Yeah, you can't, especially if they don't drink Supermalt. I mean, you're okay. Certain people, we don't trust them. Thank you for coming. Are we allowed to know your age, or can you disclose your age, or is that a secret?
Oh, no, I'm happy to share. I'm 36.
36 years of age, and you got one child, I believe?
I have, yeah.
Baby girl?
Yeah, one daughter, 8 years old.
8 years old? Wow. So at 36, you was 28. You was 27 when
27.
she was consumed. Wow. What is the journey like?
From when?
From when the pregnancy happened with the baby father. At the time, was you in a good relationship with him?
Yeah, we was in a relationship. It was only a brief relationship, but we were in a relationship. But yeah, it'd only been like, I don't know, 8 months, something like that. So it hadn't been long.
Was you friends before that?
Yeah, we were friends before that.
Many years?
No, not many years.
2 years?
Yeah.
So how long have you known him as a person before the relationship took part?
Only about a year.
Okay.
Not very long. Not like that. So we weren't like proper friends or anything, and then we got together. It was kind of attraction right from the beginning.
Love at first sight?
No, not love at first sight. He wishes. No, it wasn't that easy. No.
I'm actually looking forward to the day I meet someone who's actually fallen in love at first sight.
Yeah.
Because I know it exists. I believe it must, because loads of people talk about it, but I've never experienced it, and I don't know any one of my friends have ever experienced it. So it'd be nice to have that conversation.
I do think people can fall in love quite quickly.
Oh yeah.
Anytime I've fallen in love, it's been like, within a few months, like we know. So that's what I don't know about these people now that are like, I'm waiting to commit and stuff. What are you waiting for? You tend to know right from the beginning.
Do you?
Yeah.
Could you not grow as it goes on?
No, it's not growing.
So you're saying as time goes on, it's just the love.
It gets better, gets deeper, gets bigger, but like you pretty much know right from the beginning.
Oh, fair enough.
In my cases, anyway.
You're a very lovable person.
That's it.
So what? We won't even ask the name. Actually, I don't think we should ever ask for baby fathers' names, because I don't want anyone coming after me.
No.
So a year and 8 months after knowing him, baby girl was on her way.
Yeah. When
was the turning point between the two of you of the relationship?
We were together for a few years, and I think we parted ways when my daughter was about 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. Was he a good father?
Yes, he was, yeah.
Is he a good father still?
Yes, he is, yeah. No, I'm pausing because obviously it depends what people, would say is a good father and things like that. So
what's your definition of a good father?
I would say he's a good father because he is in my daughter's life constantly, regularly. I know that he loves her, that he'll always be there for her, and that for me, he is the next person who will do as much for her as I will. So
that's beautiful. And how do you think that affects her, him not being in the same home as her?
In the beginning, I was like aware, like conscious of how are we going to explain this and make sure that, she isn't affected too much. But she seems okay. She manages between going to 2 different homes. Sometimes she doesn't always want to go, but that's just because I think she has such a strong connection to me that when it comes down to a lot of things, she'd always just rather pick me and be with me. So sometimes I've had to deal with that and explaining why she needs to go and why daddy also needs to spend time with her and look after her and stuff like that. But I think she manages. It's just sometimes there's a difference of rules that I try to talk to her dad about, to say like we have to be understanding in that sense because she is having to manage 2 different places.
So who has the final word? Do you ask him to change his rules or do you does he expect you to change your rules?
We've kind of just kept it as when it's my house, they're my rules, and when it's his house, they're his rules, and she will have to adapt and know that, you know, when you're with daddy, this is what happens, and when you're with mummy, this is what happens.
Are there moments where the three of you get together, like birthday parties and stuff like that? Or is it a relationship? Yeah. The relationship between the two of you is good?
It's good now. So, yeah, we've been on a journey since probably like the last 4 years since we've not been together. And it has gone from very beefy, like not good, to now I'm very happy to say we're in a much, much better place.
How do you get to that place? Because you've got a lot of relationships where their mum and dad are not together and it's bitter. What advice would you give to those people to make it where you lot is now?
One of the main things is time. So it's not really something that you can rush, because ideally, yes, we want to say like everybody don't think with emotions and, you know, always do what's best for the child, etc. and all that. But it just doesn't really work like that. And, you know, especially if somebody has been hurt and stuff like that. So I would say time is definitely plays a key part, because you can't still, well, some people might be, but for me, I can't still be angry 4 years later. Like, that is ridiculous. Like, let that go. So
there's some angry men and women
I know,
out there,
but that's crazy. Like, has nothing changed in 4 years, because in my sense, like, people move on, people get new partners. My daughter's dad has had more kids, so how can I still be in the place from 4 years ago? Like, that's crazy, and wouldn't be doing any good for myself. So I just think, yeah, the anger, a lot of, you know, whatever feelings there were, whether it was still in love, resentment, you know, all of that, I think it's finally gone.
And that took you 4 years to be at the place where you are today.
Yes, I feel like maybe I was there sooner. I personally would say that it took him longer. I don't know, you'd have to ask him. But I would say that I was ready, you know, a couple of years ago.
So the breakup, was it neutral, or was it one-sided?
Okay, I would say I initiated it.
Why?
The breakup, but it's just because our relationship, it just wasn't working out. Like, it wasn't going in the direction I wanted it to go in.
You wanted it to go in?
Yeah. You know when you've had the same conversation like numerous times, like you have.
How many times?
Loads. Like, you know, you break up, you get back, you have the crisis talk, you tell him what you want, he says he's going to do it. 6 months later, you need to have the talk again.
I like how you say you tell him what he wants. What about him telling you what he wants?
I always had this conversation with him. I always told him he never had nothing to say. Like, he never wanted to break up with me, and he never wanted to tell me that I needed to change. So no, it doesn't work like that. I was the one that felt he wasn't doing things that I needed.
Looking back at it, you think it was the right decision? Breaking up? Because it sounds like he's a good person, he's a good father. He sees his father or his daughter all the time. And, and the fact that you say that next to you, he's the next best thing for your daughter, that means he's a good man. So now if you look back now, do you think you made the right decision letting him go?
I do, because I think he's a good person, he's a good friend, he's a good dad, he's all of that. But what I don't think is he's a good boyfriend. So, and that's what I needed. So even on, you know, eventually I'd need a husband. I don't think he's those good things.
So he wasn't willing to get married?
No.
Was that one of the main talks he was giving?
Yeah, he didn't. He said he didn't want to ever get married. He was very reluctant to even like commit and stuff. Like, I practically had to force him to move in with me. Like, practically like ultimatum, like, move in.
Move in or it's done.
Yeah, like, hello, we have a child together. She's like, you know, 3 years old.
So after you had a child,
he didn't willingly move in.
3 years to move in.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it was practically by force and stuff. And even then, it was like a half move in. It was like, you know, like, are all your clothes here? No. Are any bills in your name? No. So you're just half living here.
Sounds like you were the boss.
Probably. I usually am.
So what advice would you give to anyone out there who is living with their child and their baby father or the baby mother is not in their life? How should they navigate with the child? Because I'm sure you and your daughter must have some hard conversations at times.
So what advice would I give to the person to give to their child?
Yes.
If one parent's not there?
Yeah.
I would have always thought it's important to have try and find a really good balance between honesty and obviously the level of honesty you can give to whatever age the child is. So you just have to kind of explain that, you know, the parents are not together and that's fine and it's for a good reason. And that, you know, they both love the child. And I don't know, like, for me, I've not personally ever had to explain to my daughter why her dad is not there. Like,
because he's there.
Because he's there and he's always has been there. And it's, you know, so I just have to explain that daddy sees you on these days.
How many days?
Every
other weekend?
Yeah, every other weekend, and also every Monday. He picks up from school every Monday.
Would you be willing to swap that around?
No.
Why?
No matter how much I will moan about how hard it is and how much I have to do and how I'm the one that has to do everything, the school runs, the dinners and all that, I couldn't change it. I couldn't just.
So what if one day, I mean, I know you're saying he's got more kids and he wants you lot's daughter to spend more time with his other kids. He said, you know what, Shells, can we swap it around?
No, we can't, unfortunately. Do you know what? You know, like in America where they do this like 50-50 custody business quite a lot.
I didn't even know that. Is that
yeah, in America, like, it's quite easy for mums and dads to get 50-50 custody. But for me, I just see a lot of problems with that. Like, I don't think you can be moving a child in between a house like 3 days and 4 days. I don't know how that works depending on schools and stuff. Like, I just think that that's too much disruption. So I do feel sorry for men, because it is usually the men who, when you break up, they tend to be the one who is going to lose time with their child. They are going to miss out on the daily things, you know, of like making breakfast and all that kind of stuff. But, you know, that's how the world works. Some men get some benefits, some women get some benefits, and we get this one.
What's interesting about that statement, you said you feel sorry for men that they miss out. A lot of people actually say we feel sorry for the women because the men up and leave and they leave all the day-to-day running to the child. So it's actually interesting you actually acknowledge that it's priceless.
Yeah, because I've had a lot of fathers voice that they find that difficult. I know people that have stayed in relationships because they don't want to lose that. Like, and you know, we've discussed that, and that's what's keeping them there, because they do not want to lose that seeing their child that much. So I do feel for them, because it's not really something.
Would you do that? Like, you know what, this is not working, but let's stay together for the sake of our daughter?
I don't think so, because I was quite unhappy. It's not nice being unhappy. Like, I was quite unhappy for quite a period of time, and it affected me in different ways, like my self-esteem and all that kind of stuff. So I don't think that would be.
You seem like a self-confident person. That him being in your life really affected your self-esteem?
Yeah, towards the end of the relationship, it did affect me and change me. So yeah, it took me a while to get back to where I needed to go. So yeah.
How hard is it to raise a child by yourself?
It's hard. It's hard. It's I
asked that because a lot of young kids, not kids, adults, they don't really realize. They think, oh, it's just a baby. They don't understand. And I don't think, because for me, before I had kids, everyone said, oh, it's amazing. They never told me about sleep deprivation. That's the one thing that no one tells you.
Permanent exhaustion. Sometimes you can feel tired and you think, I've done nothing today.
Exactly.
Why am I tired? It is backed up tiredness, okay?
Exactly.
It's years of tiredness. I would say it's really hard because your whole life is evolved around this child. You're from everything. Like, I think people just think, yeah, you know, you have a child, you look after them, and then if you want to go out, you just get a babysitter. But it's like everything I do, so even down to like looking for a job, I will need to make sure that the job that I get works around the school run. It can't be too far away. So there's been times when I thought like, oh, let me, you know, venture into the city and stuff. That's not going to work. That's not going to work. So I will be settled in my job because my main priority is, is it flexible? Can I leave at a certain time to pick my daughter up from school, etc.? So that my career journey, that's on hold. And then just day-to-day things, you're tired. Sometimes you're tired. My daughter says she wants a story. I'm so tired. Like, I really wish there was somebody else there to read her a story. And then you have to make the decision, are you going to be tired but get up and read the story? Or are you going to try and be like, no story today? And then she misses out. So
and I think that's where a lot of parents, we're so selfish at times. We actually don't realize that our child misses out. What I want to get from you, because it sounds like you guys are doing a great job co-parenting. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, it could be better. I mean, he's great. I think I voice kind of a lot what I want, and then he's always accommodating to do that.
So if he was to voice something, would you be as accommodating as he is, or it depends?
I do try to be. So I do try to be flexible. There might be times when he says, oh, I can't drop her back on Sunday. Would you be able to come and get her? And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. No problem. Or, if it's not his weekend, but he wants to take her to a birthday party. Yeah, fine. Like if we haven't got no plans, I'm like, yeah, cool. Just
if you had plans, let's just throwing a spanner in the work there. If you had plans in your weekend and something came up, would you swap?
It depends. If I had plans and they were like, something is important, what I base it on, I'll be honest with you, is what my daughter would want to do. So I've said that to him before, like say he has like a family event that he wants to go to, but there's a kid's birthday party from her school. I say to him sometimes like, she'd rather go to this kid's birthday. I know you would rather go to this family event because it means something to you, but it's not about you. Like it's about her. All my decisions are based on her. So
you don't think a family event is more important than a birthday party?
Do you know why? Because sometimes we drag our kids to places, like we do. There's a christening, we're all going to go. Okay, did she have a good time? Like sometimes we make our kids go places like, it's Granny's 60th birthday. The first thing my daughter will ask me is, are there other kids there? That's what she wants to know because, and then twos, I'm in there having a good time, eating my food, having a drink. She might be having a good time.
You can tell her you can see what it's like being 60.
So I'm just saying, like, if there were two plans to pick from and it was already my weekend, then it might not be so. But I'm very open. This is what I'm saying. When we weren't getting on, these conversations could not be had. These weekends could not be changed. There was no negotiation. He didn't ask me and I didn't ask him. And I think it was because we knew the other person's not going to be accommodating.
Where was the bitterness? Because it sounds like you had the bitterness and you two worked around it, which we'll get to. I'm intrigued to know how you lot turned over the hurdle and do well. Where did the bitterness come from? Because if you broke up on your terms, why was there such bitterness for such a long time? Because a lot of people are caught in that cycle and they're still in there.
Yeah.
The child could be 21. They're still in that bitterness.
Do you know when you first break up, it will come from the actual relationship that you had. So even though I broke up with him, I'm going to be upset that, that he's kind of made me break up with him. I'm upset that our family's not together and I see it as your fault. Even though I'm the one that made the decision, I'm thinking, but you didn't give me what I needed. That's why I've had to leave this relationship. So I'm angry. That's what I'm saying. Even though it's my decision, I'm angry. And then, I might be expecting certain things like, are you going to try and get me back? Are you going to change? Are you going to do this? Whatever. So it starts from there. And then he has his own bitterness as well. And then what that does is it causes both of you to now, when you interact with each other, not interact well. So for example, when somebody asks for something, the first person you just started with the tit for tat. And then so then by the time it's 2 years later, you're not even really angry at the reason why you broke up no more. You're now angry.
You can't even remember.
No, but you're now angry at the numerous things that you've been doing to each other. Do you see what I mean?
Yes.
So that's why I think it can go on for quite a while, because even though the original feelings go, it's literally, but last week you said you was coming at this time and you never come.
Something as trivial as that.
Yeah, because it's just one on top of the other, like imagine like as a mum, you get every other weekend off. That's it. Every other weekend. And on Friday, you don't come on time. All I get is like 2.5 days to myself and you thought you could be late. No, that winds me up.
How did you lot turn that corner? How did you come to such a beautiful place now? What was the first step and who initiated? I'm assuming you initiated it, or did you just had enough?
I think the first step was it got to a point where we decided to put some things in writing. So you kind of winging it for several years, and then we had a bit of a blow up. A bit of a huge blow.
Was there a chance where you're not trying to get back together in this?
No, we've never.
Never. He's never tried. You never tried.
No.
So from the day the final breakup happened, that was it.
That was it. Yeah.
He wasn't coming around pretending to see the kid, and
So that's what I'm saying. So in the beginning, yeah, there was the boundaries were blurred, and because we kind of broke up, and it was kind of like, oh, it's fine, you know, we'll be civil. So then, yeah, it was like he could come round and put our daughter to bed and all that kind of stuff, and then, you know, we just start to be like, yeah, this is mixed messages. So now it can't be that. So I think that's where it created a bit of distance.
Where's he from? Country of origin?
Jamaica.
Okay.
Yeah.
Been having a lot of Jamaican men. Wait, Jamaican men, it's not looking good for you guys. I am just saying. I mean, we are 4 shows in, and every man is from Jamaica so far.
Well, I mean, he could be a positive.
Is he
image.
Jamaican or is he Yardi? Because
No,
apparently
he's not Yardi.
we learned. Oh, even you know the difference.
Yeah, no. He's
I didn't
just
know
a British
the difference.
Jamaican. No.
Apparently, Yardis are to be stayed away from.
Yeah, that's definitely not for me.
Guys, I didn't know there was a difference, so this is not on me. So she said, no, he's definitely not
it's not for me. Sorry, no offense to any Yardies. Please don't come for me. Don't come for me.
No, there won't. So we put in writing. Was it text writing? Was it a letter writing? Was it you wrote it in the same room?
No, we put it in an email. So, and that is where basically he did say that he wanted some things that I hadn't been doing before. So, for example, Christmas.
So he found more voice in writing than speaking.
Yeah.
So that's one way to go. That's what I'm trying to get.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because it was,
you
know, he made it quite clear that like before we move on, we need to agree on some things. So, and I wanted to move on, so I did have to give up maybe some things that I didn't want to.
Such as?
Do. Such as Christmas. So for me, Christmas, I felt Christmas morning, my daughter should always be with me. Christmas was always very special to me. And
why couldn't you be Christmas morning, the 3 of you together?
We tried that one time and he was very late. We tried that one time.
I can hear the anger.
Yeah, I know
because
because that's not something you have to do. That's not something someone has to do. And like I said, my Christmas was based on the Christmas I've always had as a child with my family. And you know, everyone does things different. And we have always done. You open presents at like 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, I know. A lot of people they don't do that. So, you know, a lot of black people. You got to have breakfast first and all that kind of stuff.
Opening presents at 7, 8
straight away. Like the minute you open your eyes,
you didn't even brush your teeth.
Nah. We're just all, the only thing my mum wants is a coffee, and then she says we can open our presents. So that's how I do it.
I guess as a kid, you're excited. You want you can't wait.
He turned up late. So that really annoyed me.
What time did he turn up?
I can't remember because it was years ago, but I just remember my child is up. She's up and we're ready to open.
6:45.
We're ready to open the presents and I'm calling to find out where you are. So
don't tell me he turned up at 8:30 because that's wrong. That's haram.
He was just late, like because he's a late person. His punctuality is not good. Like I know that. So I should have told him like 2 hours before, but that's not my responsibility. That's yours. But yeah, so anyway, he wanted Christmas. He felt that he should get some morning.
So is it every Christmas or every other morning Christmas?
Every other morning. So
that's fair.
Yeah. You said something, you say it's fair, but some mums.
No, but you see, that's why I'm saying it's fair. That's why I'm asking, because what you've done, what the two of you have done is found a way to be civil and the child is happy, because the problem is we have a lot of people don't find that way. Something as important to you or as trivial to someone else as giving up Christmas morning, it's beneficial for the child.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I mean. You just have to let it go. Do you know what it is? You have to start thinking as a mum, you have to start valuing the father's rights.
Hey,
I'll be honest.
Repeat that again.
Yeah, you do. You have to start seeing that his rights are just as important as yours. Because I'll be honest with you, in the beginning, you just from the minute you're pregnant and you push out the baby and all that, you just, this maternal instinct, you're there every night, breastfeeding, all that. So you just really do get consumed with the baby is yours. And, and so you have to get to a point where you have to think.
Would I be wrong in saying that I don't want to get crucified by next. Would I be wrong in saying that the child does more belong to a woman than a man?
No, you can't say they belong.
Maybe my choice of word is wrong. Because I say that more of a connection.
Yes, that's what I would
That's
say.
the word I was
I would
looking
say,
for,
you know,
yes.
naturally, like I said, woman carries the baby. You
Yes.
develop this whole, you know, connection. Then you give birth, and then even after that, you can't really just give a baby over to a man because there's still things that you need to do. Even if you're not breastfeeding, the baby was in you, so it kind of will yearn for you and stuff like that. So it's quite difficult to just. Yeah, you do seem to, and you know, it's just naturally like the babies, they want their mom, and you know, right from the beginning, your baby cries for you to bath them. Like, trust me, there was times I was ready to let that go. I was ready to be like, I'm tired. Your dad's gonna bath you, and then my little baby's crying like, no, mommy, I want you to do it. Like, so you go with that for so long that when it gets to a point now, you do build up and think, yeah, like they're mine.
That's your thing.
Yeah, like they're mine. I look after them 24/7. They want me when they're sick. Like, so, yeah.
That's amazing. So we put things in writing, email. Yep.
Yeah, we put things in writing, and I think that just made it very clear. And not really, things didn't need to really change. Everything was quite structured, so there didn't need to be any kind of ongoing conversations where, you know, it would allow people to disagree or anything like that, because we thought about a lot in the email, so we kind of put everything out there. And then, do you know what it is? It literally started with like little hellos and smiles, because there was a time when we used to do the exchange at the door with no words. Silence.
He wouldn't even come upstairs.
He stopped coming to my house a very long time ago. Like, and that was his decision. That was one time I opened the door and I turned around and the man wasn't behind me. That's what I'm saying. That was his decision. Like, he never said I'm not coming in. He just stopped coming in. So that's what I'm saying. That was a clear signal and So yeah, we used to do the exchange at the door. No hello, no smile. Like, even when my daughter's there, I guess the best that we thought we could do was not argue. So,
but your daughter's seeing everything.
I know.
She's sensing everything.
Do you know what it is though? You have to allow people to just do the best that they can. Sometimes, of course, it would be nice to say, like, in front of the child, let's be nice, let's be pleasant and stuff like that. But you also got to think the other extreme is that maybe people, because some parents are cussing and swearing in front of their child. So if the next best thing is to say nothing, then let's just get there, you know. And we got there. So that's where we was. It was just nothing. And then gradually, yeah, he started to smile at me at the door. Or he said hello. I remember ringing my mum and was like, the man said hello, you know. I was like, he said hello to me at the door. And then, yeah, it just kind of happened. Next thing you know, it was a little joke, a little LOL. I remember ringing my friend and was like, he just made a joke at the door. So just these little things. I was like, okay, he seems a bit more open. I'm a bit more open. Like, let's have a little joke. Ha, ha, ha. And, yeah.
And I think at this point, is it still allowed in, or is it still at the door?
He still wasn't coming in.
Even today?
And so then it got to my daughter's birthday. So her last birthday just gone. And I invited him in. I said, look, this is what she was doing on her birthday. She was having like a little party. So he wasn't going to take her on her birthday because she was busy having the party. So I said to him, why don't you come before the party starts? Come in, give her presents. And he made the biggest joke. He was like, let me bring some sage before I go into your house. Like, he was like,
was he joking?
Yeah, he was. Well, yeah, because he was like, oh, listen, it's been a long time since I come. He was like, it's cool. He was like, I'll bring my sage. Yeah, he was like, so that was and now he's been in like multiple times, like just for quickly, like, you know, like, my daughter's not ready, like, you don't need to stand outside. Harmless. And I think my daughter, at first she noticed.
Of course,
she noticed
everything.
She was like, you and daddy are laughing. Like, she said something like, why are you and daddy making jokes? And I said, because he said something funny. But
she's not used to it.
Yeah, and that's what made me realize, like you said, even though she hadn't been saying anything before about how the situation was, she clearly had, you know, noticed, because she noticed this, you know, positive change. And I've since then said to her, like, oh, did you like that me and daddy are friends? She was like, it's all right. She's
just being shy, but she loves it.
Yeah.
Really. One day she was like, would you and daddy get back together? No, that is beautiful. I want to touch on what you said, the little things. He said hello. He smiled. And I think we overlook that as humans, first and foremost, not just being parents. Because it's like, imagine you walking down the street and someone bumps you and they're carrying walking. You're going to look back and say, could at least say, excuse me, hello.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if we just be kind to each other, which a lot of parents, co-parents or non-existing, they're horrible to each other.
Yeah, it's just, you know what it is? And it's the fear of like being rejected, like the fear of like, you don't want to look like the stupid one. You don't want to put yourself out there. Like, it's so, you know, it's hard to think like, oh, I'll put out the olive branch, because trust me, there's been times where I might have gone to do, and then, yeah, he's not reacting well to it. So you don't want to do that. So if you think you're going to be met with a positive reaction, then you might be open to being a bit more positive. But if you think the other person's on beef, then you think I've got to be on beef as well. Like, you're on beef, I'm on beef.
And you both just thinking it. So
that's
it
what I'm
could be
saying.
both of you don't want it to be, but
if you, exactly, you're thinking, no, he's on beef, so I'm on beef. Like, he needs to know, like, whatever he brings, I bring it as well. Like,
it's my off, fam. You might have the same kid, but you
literally, and that's what I'm saying. So, you know, I have no idea when he actually maybe changed his mind and stuff like that, because
maybe it was when he got into another relationship.
Yeah, could have been. That's what I'm saying. That could have been the changing factor for him. But that could have been a time when I could have been even more.
Yeah, because the jealousy comes in.
Because of the, you know, the dynamics changing and stuff like that.
It's complicated, this parenting, co-parenting. But you lot are doing it well. Would you have any more kids?
Yeah, I would like to have another child.
How would you select your next man? Would he be Jamaican? Sorry. Jamaicans, I'm sorry.
Well, there's a chance. There's a chance, because I do like black men.
Okay, there you go.
So,
Jamaican, could be African.
That's what I'm saying. I like black men. So
there's
a
like
chance.
a 2%
he hasn't like ruined it for all Jamaicans. Definitely not.
Just his family line.
Yeah, well, I just think I would pick. Before I have another child, I really feel like I'm gonna need to be married or something. Like, I can't do this again on my own.
So, interesting you say you have to be married. Do you think marriage would save him from not walking out?
I would hope
that be the basis of choosing your next baby father? The father of your next child? I actually don't like that word, baby father.
No,
baby
I call him my daughter's dad.
Yeah.
I refer to him as my daughter's dad rather than baby father.
So what would you look for? Because would you say after knowing him a year, 8 months, you had a child, would you say that was too soon? Yes, you say you fall in love soon. Looking back at it, do you think it was too soon? I'm
not really sure about the time. I'm not sure what's the right amount of time to wait, because do you want to find out everything about someone before you have a child together? Can you really find out everything? Because you can be together for like 3 years and then, 10 years down the line, you find out new things. So I'm not sure what it is that you need to learn about someone before you have a child. But my most important thing is I just need to know someone is definitely committed and like doesn't really have any intention of leaving. That's what I'm looking for. Like, I want
how would you make sure that's the case? Because every woman wants that. Every woman, every man wants a man who there. I mean, no, don't some men, some women are honest from the get-go. I just want fun. I don't want a relationship. I just came out a long relationship. I got my own whatever happening. I'm not interested. So how would you go on about selecting someone? Is there a questionnaire? Is there an interview
I think
process?
It's about finding out their values. So, for example, my daughter's dad didn't want to get married. So
looking back, that was a red flag for you.
Yeah, because I guess the next person I get with, I'm going to want them to have to value marriage, and I'm going to want them when not just value marriage, like what is it that you see marriage as, and I want them to be. They need to be able to tell me that they see it as a long-term commitment that you don't enter in lightly because you're not exiting. So that, and it's going to be difficult. I don't want them to be thinking like, oh, marriage is just great and it's going to be easy. Like, I really want them to kind of be on the same mindset as me. Like, yes, it's going to be hard, but we're going to work at it. Just so I can feel more comfortable that like, you're not going to leave. Like, I definitely don't want to be a parent again on my own. It's long. I'll be honest with you.
Listen, parenting with two people is difficult. I can only take my hat off.
Yeah, it's long.
To all the single mothers out there. Mm-hmm. Was it planned?
No.
Oh dear.
It wasn't planned.
Oh dear.
It wasn't planned, but obviously at the age of 27, I was like, okay, cool. Well, I'm ready.
Okay, so
to
you was willing to accept. And he was willing to accept.
Yeah, like there was never again, that's what I'm saying. I do feel.
So that's why you never bothered the two of you to use protection. You just said if it happens, it happens.
We did actually use not that kind of protection. I was taking the contraceptive pill. Okay. But it's not 100%. But yeah, no, I was taking it. It just didn't work.
What advice would you give to an up and coming girl out there who wants to have kids? Some women are actually willing to have a child and happy knowing the father's not in their lives. I
know, it's crazy.
That's mad.
First of all, it's not just about you personally thinking I can do this alone. Like there's so many people that think I don't need the financial help and It's not about that. People think, oh, I've got my family members, they'll help me. Listen, every day you're in your house alone. Yeah, my mum is so helpful, like super helpful. I have a good network, but still every day I'm in the house on my own. Like it's every day you need to get up. When you're sick, you need to get up and make the breakfast. When you're tired, it doesn't matter. Like you're the one doing all of it. So it is so hard and it is so tiring. And depending on what age you are, like, I don't know why you choose to do this on your own. Like your life is going to be so dull and boring. Like it really is. Like you almost feel like grateful when you get a night out, and it's just like my daughter just went on holiday last week with her dad for a week, and it was like
free house.
It was almost like a holiday for me. Like
house parties.
I was just as excited as if I was the one leaving the country, because for a week I felt like I lived like a teenager again. Just honestly, like zero responsibilities. I kept saying to people, I can be spontaneous.
I see you've been starting workouts as well now.
Listen, that's another thing. I've always done my home workouts because I'm a mother. I cannot get to the gym. So that's one of the things. Before people have excuses, you're like, I can't work out because I can't get to the gym. So there came a time when I was like, what are you going to do? Because I can't get to the gym. Like I used to only used to go twice a week, try and get my mum to look after it. And I had to say something has to change. And when I saw like these workouts on YouTube and stuff, I was like, you can do it from your house. Like it's possible. And then even then I was like, but when will I do it? Because I've got to make the dinner, in the evening. So even then, and then someone said to me, get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, you're mad. I'm not getting up at 5 o'clock. I'm a mother. I'm tired. I do enough. But I just started it. It's something. But that's what you have to do. That's what I'm saying. As a single parent, you have to. It's not easy. When someone says, do you want to go out? It's not easy just going, yes. You have to go, okay, what day, what time, have I got? But sometimes if it's too hard, you just say no. Like if you think, oh, I could go, but I'd have to ask this person to look after them and then I'd have to drop them there. Sometimes you just I can't bothered. So yeah, I would say to someone who thinks that they can do it and doesn't need the dad, one, you're just making your life extremely difficult. Like, and I'll be honest, like it's not worth it. The kids, like they're just all right, it's fine. And then also, you're the one choosing to do it on your own, but your child did not choose not to have a father. Do you know what I mean? Like I'll give them as much love as they need, and I will be the dad as well. And they've got male role. There is no replacing it. There's no replacing it. And don't get me wrong, women who are forced into that situation, yeah.
They have to do it.
Then you have to do it. That's what I'm saying. And that's what women do, I guess. That is what our single parent women do. We end up in the situation and then we make sure we do the damn best that we can. But don't walk into the situation. Definitely don't walk into it. And definitely don't walk into it lightly.
How do you think it affects the child? Because we somehow don't think about the child. Because
I guess it's difficult to ask an 8-year-old, how are you affected? How are you feeling? Like, I try to ask my daughter questions all the time. It's difficult. Sometimes she says the truth. Sometimes she doesn't. Sometimes she says things for her. It's quite difficult to really grasp how she is affected. But you have to, you can base it on your own experience. Because I too, my mum was a single parent. So I know how I felt as a child. So I can also imagine that.
How did you feel?
Sometimes you're jealous of other people that have mums and dads that live together. Sometimes you are jealous, like you go to their house and their mum and dad is there, or their dad is maybe just more present and does certain things. So you do get a bit jealous. Or I feel like my child is affected in the way of like, she has a good relationship with her dad, but I feel like it's only as good as it can be in the sense of because they don't live together. So my daughter will tell me things that she wouldn't tell her dad. And her dad and me, we say it to her all the time. Like, if you don't like something, so say she doesn't like food, she wouldn't tell her dad she don't like it. She'll eat it. But if it's me, she's telling me she don't like it. And sometimes she'll come back and tell me that she had to eat food that she didn't like. And I'll be like, but you don't eat that. Like, you never eat that. Yeah, I know, but I just didn't know what to say. Like, that's, so for me, it's like, that can only be based on the fact that she's not as comfortable with her dad. And you're not as comfortable because if you're only seeing someone every other weekend, you can kind of be, like your best, like, do you know what I mean? You only have to be a temporary version of yourself. So, do you know what I mean? Like, I get the real her, like the moany her, all of that. Whereas I think sometimes when she goes to her dad, I think she knows it's only for 2.5 days. So I can ride, whatever happens, I can ride it out with.
And that's not a good place to be in.
It's
mentally.
It's not. And her dad, me and him, we talk, and then we tell her, and he tells her, you can tell me anything and blah, blah, blah. But you just can't force it. You can't.
It comes with time.
It just comes
with spending time. And do you know what? A lot of fathers, I mean, I'm going to go back to what you said. You feel sorry for them. That they're not there. I mean, those moments can never come back.
Yeah, they can't.
There's just those little moments in between the daytime that makes you laugh, touches your heart.
Things that you see.
Yeah, and
my
you
daughter
can't explain
things
it.
that she does to me, even down to like, she does song and dances for me. And then even we go to my mum's house and I'm like, oh, show Nanny that dance. She's like, no.
Yeah.
So it's just these moments that moments that I even catch. She's not even doing it for me, but I walk past her room and she's doing something. So yeah, the dad, he just, he can't see that. And I know when they're babies, people do try and share that. Like, they might send
You can't share it. Even through a pic. I always tell to people, I can't explain what it feels like to have a child. I can try, but I know I'm a million times off.
Yeah.
They say a picture paints 1,000 words. Yes, but there's just that feeling.
Yeah.
Like you experienced it. I can't explain it. What message do you have to all the Jamaican men out there?
Don't make this about Jamaicans. Don't make this about Jamaicans.
Jamaicans gonna cancel me, I swear to you.
Don't make this about Jamaicans. I'm more put off by he's from South, and I would, before I ventured to about putting off Jamaicans, I'm more just off men from South, like
South London.
Yeah, for me it's more of a, because I'm saying, like, he's not Jamaican, like from Jamaica, so I'm more of a.
So you say South London men are not
good?
Yeah,
I'm more like, I'm done with South men. Yeah, definitely. That's
after one.
Yeah, like, you just too far in the first place. I should never have ventured there. I ain't going back. It just gives me a good reason when I'm like from South.
Fair enough. Look, you South London Jamaican men, it's not me. No. What message do you have for men out there? Because I said this before and I'll say it again. I think we men have the option, which I'm very glad you said it, that it actually, we think it's a benefit, but it's not a benefit. When we run out, we can pack and leave. And we think, yeah, she's going to have all the hard work, but she's actually having all the good times. What message do you say to those? Basically, what message are you saying to those whatless dads out there?
I mean, I'm not sure I can give them a message, because if that's the way their mind works, there's nothing I can say to change it. Because, like I said, there are certain men that when they end up in this situation, they're not accepting the bare minimum. They're like, I'm there, like, I will be there. Like, what's the arrangements? So for someone to not be thinking that, I'm not really sure you can change their mind. But what I would say is just, you are missing out. And a lot of men think, oh, when my child's older, I will explain, or we'll build our relationship then. It'll be too late. It will definitely be too late. You can't wait for your child to turn into a teenager or a young adult and then think you'll explain to them why you wasn't around all the time, because they will hold it against you. Like, you won't be able to undo that time. So if you value the relationship with your child, especially like if you're a dad and you have sons, like, come on, like, you have a job, an important role to play that the mums can't do. So, you just need to be more consistent in any way that you can, and don't just think like every other weekend is enough. I'll be honest, like little things, like, you know, checking if your child's been to a doctor's recently, dentist recently. Don't just rely that the mum is doing a good job. How do you know? How do you know if the mum takes your kid to the dentist or gives them any health checkups? Because you don't ask.
Yeah,
like,
you just assume. Was there a lot of self-healing you had to go through while you and him? Because you know, you mentioned something that you've had loads of lonely days at home.
Yeah, when we first broke up, yeah, I guess I probably didn't even realize at the time, because you go into like survival mode. So I'm just like, I've got a child to look after and I need to be able to do this on my own. You know, you go from like splitting some costs, or, you know, he would pick her up from nursery and school and stuff. So you do suddenly think, I don't have time to be soft. I don't have time to be upset. I need to be able to manage all of these things now without him being there. Because I think that's what some women, they get scared to leave because they think, I can't do this on my own. Or they do break up, but then they do still need to ask the dad, okay, but I do need you to pick them up from school. So you're quite dependent. And then that's why a man can have a bit of power, because he can say yes or he can say no. And it can be a real struggle for you. Like if you got work, but you got to be at school, you can't be in two places at once. So my healing came a bit later. Came later, when I started to kind of take a moment and think, you're not in a good place, like mentally, like you're not who you was. So yeah, it took a while.
Wow. Has she healed?
My daughter?
Yeah.
That's the thing. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know what is going on in her head. She looks happy. And that's something that I would say, like, she looks happy. She looks like she enjoys going to her dad's. She has siblings from him. She loves them. She talks about them all the time. So she seems happy. And, you know, she's not voicing anything, and she's not doing any, you know, like weird behaviors where you might say, oh, someone's seeking attention or bad. So she seems happy. But I don't know until really she gets a bit older and I can really start trying to ask her and have these conversations with her.
Wow, that is beautiful, Michelle. Is there anything else you want to speak on this topic that you feel I did not cover, or you wish you want to cover?
I would just like to maybe point out that when we talk about single parents, there are different levels to being a single parent. And for me personally, I feel that I am a single parent because I do a lot of the things day to day on my own. But I also fully acknowledge that I have a father who is involved and consistent, and I can rely on, and does, you know, quite an amount. So I think you can't compare another woman's situation if her situation is not like mine and she doesn't have a father who is doing anything, you know, financial contribution, doing any of the school pickups, you know, she's not getting any relief. When we talk about these people, single parents, I think you can't just assume that single parent can be on the level that I'm at and can be as, you know, nice to the baby father and can have the relationship that we have, because their experience is completely different. And I don't want to take that away from people who have it a lot harder than I do.
But one thing we can agree on is that the children are affected.
Yes.
I mean, someone will have to correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think there's any way around it, unless if the home, if both parents were together, unless it was a toxic place.
Yeah.
Even still, the child will always think, why is mom not here? Why is dad not here? At some point, it's not the same as you said when you was a child. You was jealous. Those are natural things that kids see. So I think what we should do more as humans, as parents, is put that into consideration of the child, not just ourselves, which is what's so great about your story is, you know, although it took you years, but the fact you got there, you said, you know what, whoever initiated the genius idea, let's write these things down. Let's have an email system. Let's hold ourselves. Let's just be nice to each other. And as you said, your daughter is in such a better place.
And a couple years of, you know, being in a rough place, it's not gonna, that's not gonna have a bigger impact as all the rest of the years. I mean, she's only 8, so there's lots of things she don't even remember as a child. So hopefully, moving forward from now, she can have lots more years of a much more pleasant, and you know what I mean, and hopefully won't be too affected by maybe some of the earlier years that weren't as good. So that's for people in any situation. Keep working on it getting better. Like, why do you want this forever?
Exactly. You know what? I don't care what you want as a parent. I just care about the kids because, you don't need to be a genius. You don't need to be a scientist to know that kids have more of a chance of not reaching the full potentials if both parents are not involved in their lives. I'm not saying kids who were raised by single parents never reach their full potential. I'm just saying kids with both parents have a higher of a chance. And as parents, we love our kids. So why don't we want to give them the best possible chance?
But you have to have 2 willing parents. And that's the thing.
Exactly.
Some women, or even some men will say the woman, like, if the other person is not willing, there's only so much you can do. And that's when it should change to you now managing the situations as best as you can.
Yes, and that's who we're speaking to on the show. Those people who are not willing.
Yeah.
And those people who are not willing, hopefully they can hear your story and say, you know what? Let me try write it down. Because when you write things down, it's a different energy to when you speak things.
Or like you said, let me try smile. Like, just what is it that you can do? Like, you can't force the other person to do anything. But one thing you have to be able to say to yourself is, did I try? Yes. Did I try? Because if you can say, I tried smiling at this man every week and he don't smile back. I tried putting it in writing and he just ignored it. Like, if you can say, I tried, then you'll be able to, you need to be able to explain that to your child later on, that I did everything, I tried, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, but I can only imagine what it's like for someone who doesn't have a willing participant. Like,
yeah, I mean, to all the fathers out there, I can't even explain how beautiful it is to just when you just wake up, your kids are there. Like, when you go home, the kids, they notice your patterns. You go home, they hear the keys. You just hear the footsteps running, hiding, although they're hiding in the same place all the time. And you come in the house trying to pretend like you don't know where they are a good 5 minutes. All those little, I can't put into words.
And even if you don't live with the kids, even if they're excited to go with you on the weekend, like my daughter, she might moan and be like, "Oh, I don't want to go," but like I said, she's just because she just wants to be with me. Like, I am just her favorite. But yet when she comes back on that Sunday, the girl has a big smile on her face. Yeah. She's walking hand in hand with her dad. I open the door, they're chatting away. She gives him a big hug before. So I know she had a great. That's why I don't really listen to her when she says she don't want to go, because I just know it's the same as her maybe saying, I don't want to go to school today. Okay, but she likes school. You just don't feel like going. So I don't really take it on board when she says I don't want to go, because I know for a fact when she's there, she has a good time. She loves her dad, and I see from the smile when she comes back. So that, I think, is fathers, you can look forward to that. Yes. You can look forward to that weekend. Your child's running out the door, they want to come with you.
Amazing. Miss Chells, we thank you very much. Where can they find you? Where can they find you?
If anyone wants to hear more from me, you can follow me on Instagram at Chells M_. Brace yourselves. I talk on anything I feel like.
And by the way, for some strange reason, ladies and gentlemen, I really believe today we got a toned down Chells today. I don't know why. I really don't know why. I really
slightly toned down. Yeah. Do you know why? Because I'm just not, like you said, I'm just not as angry anymore. Like, if this was like maybe a year ago, we'd be having a different maybe conversation. But you have to just let things go. That's what I'm saying. Like, let it go. Yeah, cool. I was angry that time, and yes, it was annoying that you did that. But what's the point? Like, honestly, I wouldn't want to. Not that I'm going to lie or anything like that, but I wouldn't want to make the relationship with my daughter's dad any worse than it is. Like, I'm glad that we're both in a good place and I have respect for him. So yes, I'm happy to talk about my journey, and I hope that it's just talking my truth. So,
that's all we can ask.
That's I'm not really offending anyone, I hope. But I wouldn't want to say anything that it's not necessary. Like I said, what's most important is my daughter. So this is good for us.
No, amazing. So follow her on Instagram.
Follow me on Instagram. Also got a podcast.
Yes.
When the kids go to bed. Brand new podcast. Only one episode out, but follow it on Instagram. Catch it on YouTube. You won't be sorry you did.
And until next time, we'll catch Michelle's at a Jamaican wedding. Guys, thank you very much. You know, we should do a tally. You know, actually, I think we should do a tally. We should do a tally every time the whatless man's for what. Jamaica's in the lead. I mean, that's losing. I don't think that's winning.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of goes without saying, isn't it? Like, no, but in the sense of like people say that, you know, like African men are maybe a bit more committed and things like that. Oh. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely going African now. I'll be honest with you.
Which part? West, south, north, east?
You know, without giving away too much, like, you know, I'm currently seeing someone from Nigeria, and yeah, like I'm very open to this different type of culture.
Rice and peas or jollof rice?
Personally, like, yeah, rice and peas, like, don't worry.
Don't say that. Don't ever say that to your Nigerian.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm going to embrace some of your culture, innit? Like, obviously, all the good things, but I'm definitely still going to bring the fact that I'm from Grenada. And this is how we do
or
things.
Magnum?
Neither.
Listen, Michelle, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. And we're going to do this again at some point. Maybe we can have your other co-host to come and share her story if she wants.
Definitely get her on.
Yeah. Thank you very much, people. Until next time. See you.